Time flies when you're having fun, or so they say. But when you work in education, time flies full stop. Lucky for you, Teachers TV kindly presents Nick Packard, Joe Parry and Jane Dixon, our time-saving team. Today, it's ICT guru Nick Packard, whose motto is embrace technology to save time.
We're going to look today at how you might create effective searches to try to save you time when you're looking for stuff on the internet. I don't know about you, but I often find myself spending quite a lot of time looking for things that I know are out there somewhere. I just struggle to find them quickly. When you bring up Google, the first thing it sort of says to you is type something in. It's kind of it's encouraging you to do that, which is good. But actually, if you spend a little bit of time thinking about what it is you're looking for first, that can be a good place to start from. Because if you look at it across the top of a Google screen here, if you're looking for images, go into images. If you're looking for videos, go into videos. If you actually go into this more menu here, there's a huge number of kind of specialist areas within Google, even helping you search your own computer on Google Desktop. The other thing is to think a little bit about the vocabulary that you use when you put in a search and how you structure it. And so let's say you were trying to find information about population in India. Now, if I type in the words population in India, what Google actually does is effectively putting in the word "and" between each different word. So it's looking for things on the internet that have population and in and India somewhere in their front page. And what we've got is 17 million hits, which is a bit it's an awful lot of data to try and get your head around. Now, I was thinking particularly about the Indian subcontinent, but you can see here it's returned results that are to do with Mexican Indians, American Indians, which is perhaps not surprising. If you look here, there's actually things about the Indian population of tiger shrimps. So it's not really giving us exactly what we want. So what we can do to actually make it say, I want the phrase population in India, is you put the phrase in quotes. So if we type quotes around our search, it's now looking for the specific phrase population in India. Already you can see we're down to 231,000, which is still rather a lot, but it's an awful lot better than where we started from. But also there's over here advanced search. And what advanced search does is it effectively helps you to construct a search in the way that I've been talking about. Because it says, I want search results that have got all these words in. So I put in words like trend, India, population. Okay, so I want things that can hit all of these words, but I want the specific phrase, population in India. But here I might put in something like the words I don't want. So we ran into problems with Mexico, with American Indians, and with shrimps. So I might just put those in as things I actually want to specifically exclude from my searches. So here, Google Advanced Search is actually helping you remember quite a lot of those sort of steps that you might need to go through. What it then does actually is it turns the things you've just written into a quite complicated string. And those words I didn't want, it has a minus sign before. So it's actually giving you some clues to how Google wants you to program in its search the sort of syntax that it uses. If I want the word to be excluded, I can put a minus sign before it. So going into Advanced Search, putting in some information there, number one, it'll help you drill down to the data that you want, but number two, hopefully it'll also kind of teach you something about how you make sure that you get searches well phrased from the beginning and quickly get to the information you're after. These principles, they work in Google, but they work in most search engines. Try not to reinvent the wheel. If you need to create something new on a computer, try to find a file that does something similar and start from that. You might well find that you'll delete most of the content from the original file, but having something there in front of you helps you make decisions about what you do and don't want in your new file.
Visit teachers.tv/timesavers for useful advice on implementing Nick's tips.
Using games in the classroom. I think probably when you start to think about gaming and gaming technologies, maybe the first thing that springs into your mind is not, oh, that'll save me lots of time. Because generally speaking, when you think about gaming technology, you're thinking about complex, multi-layered games where you've really kind of got to immerse yourself in the game to get the best out of it. But I'm sort of thinking more in terms of the kinds of games that you're going to come across that you'll find on the internet, Flash-based games, and how you can use those in the classroom to save you time in terms of the things you might prepare and also to save you time in terms of getting engagement from your pupils and keeping them focused and motivated to keep working. There's any number of games like this out on the internet. You know, you go out there and you look for games about various aspects of what goes on in your classrooms, and you'll find stuff. But I want to break it down into generic groups, if you like. The first one is the kinds of games that are done independently. They enable you to focus a particular child on a particular skill or a particular concept that you want them to keep working on. And these games are good because what they do is they effectively keep that child motivated, engaged, and they keep giving them feedback about whether they're making progress on developing this idea. So this one's definitely a game that is all about a very clear mathematical concept, and therefore something that's relatively easy for you to give to a child who's having trouble, in this case, with maybe establishing ideas about ordering numbers. Basically, the idea is you get a block of a tower, and each block in the tower has a number in it. And you get to make decisions about where replacement blocks could go, and you have to order the numbers from 1 to 50, as it said at the beginning there. If you've got children who are really trying to sort of get to grips with these issues about numbers, then it's a really nice and easy thing to do. But as I say, independent game, done independently, but it keeps them engaged. It keeps your preparation in terms of resources right down low, and hopefully makes it a sort of simple and time-saving, time-efficient approach. The next sort of game that you might want to look at is something that you would do as a group or as a whole class. If you've got an interactive whiteboard, these are lovely. I mean, if you can find the games that focus on the sorts of skills you want to develop, if you can find them and you can put them on your interactive whiteboard and you can play them as a group or as a class, absolutely lovely activity to do. So here we're just going to play a game of Hangman. We all know how Hangman works. We go in and we start applying some of our good strategies about which letters crop up most often in words, and we can have all those sorts of discussions as we're going through. What do we think it might be? But we go through the process. It could be interactive whiteboard, it could be children coming out, clicking on the board, making choices themselves, justifying their choices, etc. But it doesn't take a lot of time for you to find them. It doesn't take a lot of time for you to set the game up, and it's really engaging. And in terms of looking for different learning styles, again, another sort of non-traditional approach to classroom activity.
We challenged ICT teacher Matt Nicholson to try out one of Nick's tips in the classroom.
Social networking can be educational and it can save you time. If you don't believe me, try putting a question on a discussion board on your school's virtual learning environment and make everyone in your class complete that discussion for homework. Not only do you get a discussion thread where everyone makes a contribution, meaning even quieter students get to say their piece, but also you get one document to review and assess. It could save you time.
My initial thoughts are, I think it's a fantastic idea, and I think it will reach out to all of our students in every year. My only concerns are that not every student in our school's got internet access at home, and maybe there's provision that we can put in place with after-school clubs. And those 60 minutes in a lesson are very precious, and they can be easily swallowed up by collecting homeworks in that we've set in previous lessons and then dealing with students that haven't done them.
Matt took a mere 3 minutes to set up the forum-based homework on his school's virtual learning environment. But if your school doesn't have one, check out the Teachers TV website for more information on setting up a free VLE in your school.
Today's homework, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to use the VLE for a forum. What I want you to do is post 2 pieces of advice or rules that you would give to a Year 6 student coming to our school. But you're also going to discuss that and expand on that, okay?
A week later, and the homework's in. All Matt has to do is print off one document to assess. But did everyone participate? And what's the standard of work?
The VLE-based forum homework was a major success. Every student participated and completed the homework set. One of the major advantages of doing the VLE-based forum was I was able to log on to the forum each night over the week that I'd set it and actually interact with the students online, and they seem to respond to that and add more to it. There isn't a subject in the school that a VLE-based forum or online quiz couldn't be set up for. The process itself only takes a few minutes to do, and even if you're not an ICT specialist, it's only 4 or 5 clicks to set up. As long as you've got the ideas, there isn't any reason why someone in the school that the VLE coordinator or the e-learning coordinator, whoever that may be, can't assist you to do that. To give it a time-saving tip mark out of 10, I'd probably give it an 8.
When you're trying something new with ICT, be realistic. Sometimes you can make progress by yourself and sometimes you'll need help. Why not give yourself 30 minutes to try out something new? And if you haven't made enough progress in that time, go and find someone to help you. It'll save time in the long run. If you've ever watched somebody who's a bit of a whiz on a computer, and you're not such a whiz on a computer, and you know roughly how things work and you know where to find things, and they seem to rattle through things really quickly and make the computer jump around and do all sorts of stuff, chances are they're using keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts are just a combination of keys on the keyboard that make the computer do something that you want it to do. Control is almost always part of these keyboard combinations, but Control P will kick your computer off to start printing that file. Similarly, Control S will save your file. This is a great one. If you're one of those people who works away at something and gets to the end and then saves it, you'll have come across the times when you got halfway through something and something crashed and it fell over and you think, I've lost all my work. It happens to everybody, but remembering Control S as a way of saving it means that as you're working, just pause for thought, Control S, I've updated the file with what I've just worked on, so I know I'm not going to lose it. Really simple and really quick. Now you might be used to going up and finding cut, copy and paste in the menu. And you might find that if you typed a little bit of text in, and I've highlighted it because I want to change it or I want to copy it, you may well use the mouse to come over here, click, go back to where you want to paste it again and paste. But also, I could do that as Control C for copy. If you look on a keyboard, C has got X on one side, and X looks like a pair of scissors, a little bit. X is Control Cut. So if I want to actually pick something up and get rid of it, but copy it so I can use it somewhere else, Control X will take it off. Control C would copy it, and Control V, which is the next one along, pastes it back on. Okay. So how do you find out about keyboard shortcuts? Depending on which version of any piece of software you're using, they will usually pop up. Now, quite often you would find them in the menus across the top. So where you have File, Insert, View, all those sorts of things. If you click on those menu headings and look down, you'll often see next to the function you want a combination of characters. A little control, usually CTRL plus a letter or a number. But if I hover over spaces, I get the same thing. Paste is Control plus V. So if I can't remember what the keyboard shortcut is, it's there for you. Go and find it somewhere. The other thing about keyboard shortcuts is they work across programs. So Control Copy in a word processor will copy a piece of text. It would also copy a picture if you happen to put that into word processor. But if you start editing video, it does the same. Working with manipulating images, it does the same. Control C is still copy. So not only are you learning shortcuts of using the piece of software you use commonly, but you're developing a set of kind of habits, if you like, that work right across all sorts of pieces of software.
You can get useful advice and templates if you visit teachers.tv/timesavers.